fourth book of 2025, Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Amelie Wundraw. So after reading two thrillers back to back, I knew that it was time to return to the genre where I feel the most comfortable, and that is YA fantasy. I read copious amounts of it every year, and after the disappointment of The Raven Boys as the first book of the year, I wanted to return back, and that's what I did. This is a Chinese-inspired YA fantasy that takes place in this world that has been colonized by European-coded invaders called the Elancians. We follow our main character Lan, who has been orphaned at the time of the conquest and now works as a song girl at one of the tea houses in a port city called Hakkong. One day things go terribly awry for her, and when she might potentially have died, she gets rescued by this cultivator. Yes, cultivator, like in the wuxia books and movies, called Zhen. And together they embark on a quest to the interior of the country where they might be able to figure out the strange mark on Lan's wrist, which might be the secret to saving the country from the clutches of these evil colonizers. But it's not just the colonization by these foreign invaders that the book talks about. It's also about the colonization done by the people of the land themselves. The dominant ethnic group called the Hin, what they did, ethnic cleansing of minorities, their forced assimilation and subsequent homogenization to form this uniform Hin ethnicity. Does that ring any bells to what a real world country may or may not have done? Anyway, it's very important to talk about all forms of colonization, not just by people who look different from you, but also people of your own land who ultimately betray you and decide that your cultures don't matter enough and that you should all follow the same culture as them. Really miserable, I know. The writing style was definitely way too focused on exposition. Even at the 60% mark, we were getting these like chunk loads of exposition, which I didn't really love. The relationship between our two main characters, I mean, they didn't have any chemistry going on, so when they finally did get together, it was just so forced and weird, and I didn't like it. I hated Lan as a main character. She was so freaking annoying. I wanted to go into the book and punch her face, but I can't do that, unfortunately, so I have to make do with ranting about her. I gave this book a rating of 3.75 stars, which is a pretty good rating as far as the flaws of this book are considered. I have many cultural nitpicks that I can dissect in this book. The author could really have used the cultural sensitivity reader despite being from the culture herself. However, I will still be continuing with the sequel to this duology because I do want to know how the story ends, and the location we're going to in the second book is one that I find personally really interesting.